Let's have a candid conversation about taking on extra things that make you say, sure, I'll make it work. Don't worry about it. I'll figure out how to squeeze it in. If you find yourself saying things like this that stretch you to the max and take you past your capacity, which leaves you at the end of the day feeling frustrated because you had to take something off of your to do list, something that you wanted to get done, but didn't because you had to squeeze something else in. And I bring this up because the focus of this channel is to hone in on creating better days for yourself, making yourself feel better, not just in your body, but in your mind and your spirit, feeling good about how you come to the end of the day, feeling good about whether or not you've taken on extra stress and overwhelm, if you're feeling burnt out, if you're feeling exhausted, because you just don't seem to get the things done that you want to get done because you're deprioritizing. Is that even a word? Like you're bottoming, you're dropping their priority off of your to-do list to fit in other things. Maybe it's for other people, maybe it's because you've been distracted, whatever the reason is. So let me give you an example. Let's say you've decided to take on a new way of eating, and that requires for you to maybe clean out your pantry, organize your meals, like actually plan out what you're going to eat. Maybe you've even done like I do, and scrolling at night, you've come across a bunch of really great recipes that fit into this new meal plan, and you've saved them all or you've emailed them to yourself. That's me. But then you need the time to actually sit down and go through them, to plan them out and write down your ingredients list and do the shopping and do all the different things that make this a true priority so you can start this new way of eating. Yes? But here's the thing, because you don't maybe put it on your schedule, maybe because you haven't ranked it as a priority, you end up sacrificing doing this, even though you wanted to, even though you know it matters. And it just happens that something else comes up. You're like, oh, yeah, sure, I'll take care of that first. That's why I'm here, friend. That's why I'm having this conversation with you, to bring it up and to consider the things that you say to yourself, the things that you do, so you can check in with yourself and see if they are benefiting you or not. Because, friend, someone needs to fight for you. And I mean fight for you as in helping you to rank yourself as a priority and ranking what you want to accomplish as a priority. Because everyone has their own agenda. People are going to come to you and they're going to ask you to take on something. They're going to ask you, in their effort to manage their own schedule, that they're trying to ease their plate. They might ask you to take over for something. They might ask you to take on something or handle it for them. And instead of saying no or not today, maybe you drop the things that you wanted to get done. Maybe you choose to honor what they want over you as the priority. Have you been here? I have. And sometimes we do it because it's easier. It's a distraction from taking on the other thing that we have to do. And so there's a lot of different reasons this comes up. They're not all negative. It's just a matter of acknowledging when it happens and checking in with yourself. So let's go back and use the meal planning as an example. This is so relatable to me because I have been here and I have done this. There are times when I will decide it's totally time to change up things in my diet. Sometimes it's been a massive overhaul and I commit to an entirely new way of eating. And that requires a lot of adjustments. It requires a lot of planning and shifting. But let's imagine, for the sake of this example, that I have saved up a bunch of different recipes and this is my new way of eating. And I have these recipes and it's exciting, but it's going to take me having the mental space, the brain capacity to plan, to organize, prepare, and then process. I've got to cook all these new meals. And it is all new to me, so it requires thinking. It's not like I can just go through the motions. It's not like all these things are already in my refrigerator. That requires me to dedicate time to getting this done. Make sense? But it could be that something else comes up, and even though you set the best of intentions, you wanted to get this thing done, you just don't because you let something else come along that pushes this back. And so you just say, oh, yeah, I'll do that later, or I'll squeeze that in. That time doesn't actually exist. You with me? So the point is, you can self sabotage. That means taking down yourself, not achieving your goals, because you believe the things you say that write it off for later. Like, oh, yeah, I'll have more time and I'll just do this later. Or I'll find a way to squeeze it in. And you devalue it in the moment. You push it aside. It's a positive justification so that it frees you up right now in the moment to do something else, whether that's a distraction or because you wanted to do something else. But at the root of it, it's often because you're believing that you're able to get back to it later. You're believing it's just not as important now. You've devalued it. I know I've said that before, but I'm saying it again because I just want you to be able to look at this for when it happens. Because when we devalue things in the moment, we often don't pick up that value later, or we only do when the pressure is on. So, like for the meal planning thing, you might not actually get back to it for days or weeks. Time may just keep going on and you just keep pushing it aside, pushing it aside. And at the end of the day, you come to bed and you're frustrated and you're like, oh, I still didn't get that done. I still didn't eat the way I wanted to. I still didn't get to start that diet. And you start to beat yourself up. Maybe you start to feel like a failure, which makes you not want to do it even more. And it is all of this because in the moment, you're just saying, oh, yeah, I'll just squeeze that in later. And that's the moment I want you to notice. The moment when you think something else is coming up and you consider not doing the thing that you set out to do. Now, I'm just using the meal planning thing as an example. You put in there whatever it is that you have been tossing aside, whatever you've been pushing and devaluing, pushing down the priority chain because something else comes up. Friend, something else is always going to come up. There's so many things that grab for our attention and so many things that are out to sabotage you and so many things that other people are just going to ask you to take over or to do. And you've got to be able to notice when this happens and it tries to pull your priority attention away, the attention that you need to be giving to the thing that you want to do. And instead you can notice it and you can notice how sneaky it is. And I call it positive justification because it's not necessarily an excuse. It's a way that you're justifying not getting it done now. And it leads you down this trap of just never getting it done, or only getting it done under extreme circumstances or pressure. So it's often a misleading thought that helps you feel better in the moment, but over time, it leaves you feeling worse. Maybe it's just worse at the end of the day. Maybe it's worse over time because you're left scrambling, trying to get everything in. So as we wrap up this message, I realize I have focused a lot on illustrating this in relationship to you wanting to do something and not having enough time for it. But I also want you to know that this can be when somebody else asks you to do something. It can be something for yourself. It can be something that pops up. It just seems easier, more appealing. And so because you're seeking to feel better in the moment, to get that dopamine fix, you're like, okay, I don't have to do the hard thing. I can do the easy thing. So I just want to encourage you not to give up and not to give up on yourself and your dreams and your goals and the things that you actually want to do. And don't put it aside thinking you can have space to tackle it tomorrow. Tomorrow already has its own agenda. You don't need to keep burdening it by putting today's tasks on tomorrow. And it's not going to make you feel any easier when tomorrow comes and now you have extra stuff to do. So be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself, which includes future you. Don't burden future version of you with all of these extra things that you're putting off in the moment, and allow future you to look back and go, yes, I really did good for myself yesterday. And I'm so grateful I got this done because now, like going back to our example, now future you gets to eat healthy and future you gets to eat on the plan and future you gets to feel better because they didn't have this extra thing to tackle. That's amazing. So it comes back to finding these positive justifications that just don't serve us as good as we think that they are in the moment. We got to start to pay attention to it when we hear them and just ask ourselves, is this really true? If I don't do this now, am I really going to do it later? Am I really going to have time this evening to tackle this? Do I want to think about it this evening? Because oftentimes, yeah, you might have more time this evening, but do you have the brain capacity? Do you have the energy to tackle it? That's another thing. So that's what I'm saying. You ask yourself, is this really true? Or am I just using this as a justification to get out of doing it right now? These are the kind of conversations we're getting into deeper inside of my coaching program. If you're interested in joining in, we're getting ready to open back up for enrollment and starting in January. So you can have 3 months with me, January, February, and March. The link in the description or scan the QR code to get more information. I hope you have an amazing day, friend. Thanks for joining me, and I'll talk to you next time.